Okay, causes of the Civil War according to the SOLs, according to Virginia SOLs. I'm going to throw up a whiteboard quick. We'll go through them, see how far we get. Let's see, write these down. You need to know them. Okay, causes of the Civil War. There's seven identified factors that caused the Civil War according to the Virginia Standards of Learning for U.S. History, along with mounting sectional tensions and a failure of political will. We have one, the sectional debate over tariffs, the extension of slavery in the territories, and the nature of the Union, states' rights. This is all lumped into one, which at times doesn't make sense to me because they seem three different things, but okay. Remember those. Two, Northern abolitionists versus the Southern defenders of slavery. Okay, the growing abolitionist movement in the North is going to be a factor. It's driving a further wedge between North and South. Three is the Supreme Court decision in the Dred Scott case. Now, I want you to remember that. You should from last unit. All right. Dred, two big things from the case. Dred is not a person but a slave, so he has no right to sue. And the federal government can't interfere with our right to property or banning slavery in the territories. Okay. Four would be the book Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Five, we have ineffectual presidential leadership throughout the 1850s. The failed compromises is number 6. We have the 3/5 compromise, the Compromise of 1820, also known as the Missouri Compromise, and the Compromise of 1850. So we've been on this path to civil war since the Constitutional Convention in 1787 in Philadelphia, right? We've been arguing over slavery from the get-go. And then, of course, number 7 is the President Lincoln, and this doesn't make sense to me. Fort Sumter is fired on, Lincoln calls for troops, and this is a cause of the Civil War. I think it'd be more likely to say Lincoln's election as a cause, but anyhow, this is according to the state. All right, so we now have the Civil War begun. The shots were fired at Fort Sumter. The secession of the southern states is going to lead to a long and costly war that ends, we know, with Northern victory, a restoration of the Union, freeing of the slaves, emancipation, right? And what we'll see during this time is constitutional government, our version of constitutional government, put to its most important test. And we'll see some resolution to the disagreement over state and federal rights, power of the government versus states' rights. We know that our survival as one nation was at risk, and what Lincoln's trying to do and what we hope to do here is bring to reality the ideas of liberty, equality, and justice that are set forth in the Declaration of Independence, and which will depend on the outcome of this war. All right, this war is going to last a number of years, like we said, 1861 through 1865. Approximately 620,000 Americans are going to die during the Civil War. All right, and we'll get into that in class a bit. The disease and the medical treatment. It's going to produce a number of very, very important, very famous battles, which I'm going to put up now. And I know we're going through this quick, but I want you to know these, so write them down. Oh, leaders, actually, before battles. Leaders before battles. You have Lincoln, who's the president of the Union during the Civil War. He opposed secession and insisted the Union be held together, so this is something that people have a hard time with, is that Lincoln didn't necessarily go to war to free the slaves. All right, while we'll argue that slavery is a major cause of the Civil War, it's not why Lincoln goes to war. Lincoln goes to war to preserve the Union. If he could have preserved the Union without freeing any slaves, he probably would have done so. Okay. Jefferson Davis will be the president of the Confederacy. Okay. He's a senator from Mississippi. Grant will be the final Union commander who actually gets something done. All right. He'll defeat Lee. Robert E. Lee will be the Confederate general and commander of the Army of Northern Virginia. Remember that, Army of Northern Virginia. He opposed secession, but didn't think the Union should be held together by force. And after the war, Lee will be try and urge Southerners to accept defeat and get back together. All right, reconcile. And then Frederick Douglass, though not a leader, was an important influence on Lincoln. I'll continue.